Talk about it. The Utah Jazz pulled out a nice win in Summer League over the Memphis Grizzlies, and Zach Edey, he was awesome. Isaiah Collier was awesome. We're back, baby. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. All right, guys, it's been a while, but it's Summer League, and we're going to be doing lives every show. I missed it. I missed you guys. And by the way, if you're new here, if you're a Jazz fan, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. We're growing like crazy. The numbers are great. I appreciate all of you, especially all the members who are part of this channel. You guys are amazing. Let's just get started. I'm gonna pop this chat out, and then we are gonna. Okay, I think at the stuff I was doing last season, and it was great. And by the way, and who knows what numbers this is gonna do? This is for the channel members, by the way. But in fact, I'm probably doing another video tonight because there's more Lowry marketing rumors coming out. There is more Walker Kessler trade rumors coming out. We are going to talk about that probably post-show and post-video. But anyways, the Utah Jazz got to play. We got to see the Utah Jazz rookies play, and it was fantastic. Let me try to swallow. I can't swallow. Let's see. Let me put up let's see. Screen. Let's see. Man, guys, I haven't done this for a while. Oh, that's something else. Okay. Let's see. And then let's make me... I haven't done this for so long. This video's going badly. Okay, we're back, baby. New background, new everything. Let's talk about it. Okay, so here we go. In fact, let's just bump this up a little bit. All right, so we got to see Zach Edey tonight. He was pretty solid. I don't know if we got, the full experience. It is Summer League. But you know what? This was a pretty good test for Zach Edey. He got to go up against Walker Kessler, and he looked good. Honestly, Walker Kessler could have probably shown a little more, but Zach Edey's huge. So what you got to do is just give a lot of credit to Zach Edey. He was great tonight. Anyways, 7 for 11. Oh, thank heaven. 13 rebounds. 14 points, 2 block shots. He looked pretty solid. I think he's going to fit in nicely, and his game is going to translate really well to the NBA game, I think. So I think if you're a Grizzlies fan, you got to be really excited. He's going to be just a force inside, and if he can stay healthy and he can move well, he looked good to me. He was really lean. He looked solid. So if you're a Zach Edey, if you're a fan of the Grizzlies, you got to be pretty happy with what you saw from Zach Edey. So pretty solid. I don't have a lot else to say, but that was pretty solid outing for him. GG Jackson, he's 5 for 17 from the field, 0 for 9. There's tons of flashes there, but you would think he'd be a little bit better. I know a lot of Jazz fans were hard on Keyonte George for his shooting numbers, but everyone seems to just, it's like that, that bus meme where the one guy's looking at the sunshine and the one guy's looking at the sad thing. It's like everyone's looking at sunshine with GG Jackson, and then look at this, 0 for 9. And then they'll look at Key's numbers and they just look at the, the dark clouds. And I'm like, I think you just got to be a little bit more patient with this Jazz team. All right, let's talk about the Jazz. No more about the Grizzlies. This is a Jazz channel. I was really happy with some things. Let's just go through each player. We had so many young players play today. The rookies got some run, and we saw some exciting things. And one of the things you got to be thinking about when you're a Jazz fan is that you're just trying to hit with some of these picks, Taylor Hendricks had really nice moments last year. You'd hope for a little bit more. He had some moments in this one. Keyonte George hit last year, but we're seeing him hit some shooting slumps, and it would be nice to see him kind of bounce out of that. But we did see some nice things. But anyways, Cody Williams had 20 minutes tonight, and I think he's probably going to get a lot, he's going to get 20 minutes tomorrow. It was really fun to see his brother Jalen Williams talk and kind of talk about how it's like more of a learning experience for him. And I really liked what he said, that it's not about the points, it's not about the scoring, it's not about all these things. It's about learning your teammates, learning the system, learning how to play. And I felt like Cody Williams, even though he didn't have the flashiest night, what he did do was solid, and he played solid winning basketball. He didn't hurt his team. And when he did make plays, they were good. And you see that. Look at that. 60% field goal percentage. He had that one nice Euro in transition. He made that nice play near the end of the game where he put the ball up the court. And, he has a little bit of chemistry already with Isaiah Collier, but it might just be that Collier's really solid. So, Cody Williams, 60% from the field, 6 points, 5 rebounds. +4 in a Jazz win. I felt like when he was on the floor, he was making good moves. Nathan Butnett, man, I love you too. Thanks for being here, being part of the channel. We're back, baby. Anyways, I just have nice things to say about Cody Williams, and I think we're just going to see him continue to improve. But what he does is he just makes nice plays. And what I saw tonight was a guy that just understands how to make good basketball plays. He knows how to play the game. And he's going to find ways to impact the game more. And I think that's going to be his big thing. Like each one of these players, as we talk about them, we're going to talk about how can you impact the game more. I don't think we have on our hands, like a Cooper Flagg yet, which we will next year. I'm hoping. All of you better be crossing your fingers, your toes, cross your nose, okay? But anyways, Cody Williams is a player that I think can be an impactful NBA player for a long time. Hey, Nathan Burnett, this is one of my very last shows for a few years. I had my first day as a home MTC missionary today. I'll miss the show. Nathan, have a good mission, baby. Be safe and do your best, all right? Be safe. We're going to miss you too. Good luck. We'll be right here when you come back, baby. And hopefully when you come back, Cooper Flagg is on the team. That would be quite the nice thing. By the way, a lot of you who follow me know that I also was a missionary and I subscribed to that religion. Worst thing on my mission was when my mom sent me a letter. She decided to combine two things into this letter. One was that she let me know that my dog died, and two, that John Stockton had retired. So no, I got that letter. I read it. I was in the mountains of Argentina, and I went and I just laid down on my bed. And it was a sad day in Santa Rosa de Calamuchita, okay? Anyways, good luck, Nathan. Anyways, Cody Williams had a nice night. It was really nice to watch him play, and he looks like a solid rookie to me. I think he's just going to get better, man. Just going to get better. All right, so Taylor Hendricks, a little bit like Cody Williams, there was a lot of just kind of in the background stuff. I was hoping for a little more impact, and he definitely impacted the game at the end. It was nice. One of the things about Taylor Hendricks is, he just needs to do the things he does well and then slowly try to add to that. You can't just be doing, trying to be everything that you're not. Sometimes you've got to do what you do well and just do it and then add to those things, What we know that Taylor Hendricks can do is he can shoot threes and he can play defense. And he does those things pretty darn well. And when he was doing those things, that was when he was impacting the game. But you know what was also really nice? Watching him go in transition and score. That's the type of way you can succeed in the game for Taylor Hendricks. Run that floor, score in transition. But when he, at the end of the game, took that open three and knocked it down, that was a huge shot. And he also made some big-time defensive plays at the end of the game that was just as much of winning plays as anything in this game. So, Taylor goes just 3 for 8 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, but that 3 was a big time shot. 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 7 points. The thing that I want to see from Taylor Hendricks is how can he do more of these things? Like, how can he get more 3-point shots? Some of that's not his fault. We have Keyonte George still kind of learning how to play that point guard role. And some of it is that you've just got to find a way to get open, and you've got to take those shots. Don't be afraid. There was a couple that he could have taken that he did not, And sometimes this can be a little bit better. Is he scoring on drives? Is he moving the ball within the offense? If the shot is not there, are you moving it, There's just going to be improvement for him. But the base there is the base of a very good player. And I'm excited to see him continue to grow. And that's what this is all about. Honestly, this season, guys, you know my thoughts on things. Although, honestly, I haven't really talked to you guys live in a while. But this season for the Utah Jazz has to be about these players. It has to be about Cody Williams. It has to be about Taylor Hendricks. It has to be about Collier, Keyonte, Sensabaugh, Filipowski. All of these guys is what the season needs to be about. And the way we will find joy as basketball watchers and Jazz fans is appreciating that improvement. So when you're watching Taylor Hendricks tonight, watch the baseline and then find joy this season as he improves, okay? That's where you're going to find a lot of fun. And that's where I get a lot of enjoyment out of this. And also going to Tankathon and watching the Jazz rise in the rankings as they go for Cooper Flagg, who, by the way, as a select team player, if you did not see, this is a tangent. I want to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. This is the Hoops Nerd Show. This is what we talk about. But if you did not watch the USA basketball highlights, you had LeBron James, all the best players. It was varsity practice scrimmage today. LeBron James, you know, all the top NBA players. And then you had the select team. And guess who's leading the select team? Mr. Cooper Flagg, going to Duke. It's basically varsity versus junior varsity. And guess who dominated? Guess who showed out big time, took the lead late, nearly beat varsity? Cooper Flagg is the real deal. And so what this season needs to be for the Utah Jazz is playing the young guys. Let Keyonte George go out there and struggle. Let him learn. Let Isaiah Collier go out there and struggle. Let him learn. Let Taylor Hendricks go out there and take his lumps. Because guess what? You're improving these guys to get better as they go so that when they get Cooper Flagg this season and he becomes a Jazz man, they become a really, really interesting team. And then when you consider the fact that AJ DeBonsa is coming to Utah for high school basketball, the best prospect in 2026. He is the best prospect that is going to play in Utah in the history of Utah basketball. All right? In the history of Utah basketball. That includes Sean Bradley. That includes Danny Ainge back in the day. AJ DeBonsa is going to be the number one pick in 2026. Cooper Flagg is going to be the number one pick this upcoming 2 years, AJ DeBonsa. And by the way, there are rumors that he's considering BYU. Could you imagine if AJ DeBonsa goes to BYU? It's just crazy to me. It's bonkers that he is going to Utah for premier high school basketball. He's not going to Montverde like Cooper Flagg did. He's going to Utah. It's freaking crazy. All right, let's get back to the Utah Jazz. All right, Taylor Hendricks, I hope we see more of him next game. I just want to see him develop. I want to see him have some moments where we're seeing him just get more and more consistent and really show out with what he does. Walker Kessler, pretty solid. I'm getting a little... He was good. He was solid. And you know what? Zach Edey might be fantastic. What if Zach Edey's just incredible? I'm expecting just actually a little bit worried. We saw a rumor today. I think it was Ian Begley in New York. He's talking about the Jazz have put it out there that Walker Kessler they want a first-round pick for him. So I think that's a possibility. And one thing about Walker Kessler is he doesn't make a huge salary. He's very tradable. And there were some weird little things that happened last year with, him being mad. I mean, that one tweet from or that one little segment on, what was it? Spence Checkett's show here locally. He talked about some weird confrontation with Will Hardy. And I have heard some things. If you guys want, go listen to my podcast I did with Andy Larson. It's a good one. We talked about Walker Kessler and some weird things. But one of the things that Andy Larson revealed I thought was really interesting and really good was that Walker Kessler, there's just a disconnect there with what the Jazz want Walker Kessler to be and what Walker Kessler wants to be. And I thought maybe the Jazz were the ones wanting him to be the three-point shooter, but apparently that's Walker Kessler that wants to be doing those things. He wants to be the Brook Lopez of the Jazz and shooting threes and things like that. He wants to be kind of that stretch five And the Jazz are like, you know what? What we want you to be is just a high-level big that protects the rim, rebounds, rolls to the basket, and things like that. I don't know what's going on there. There is a disconnect. And maybe he can figure it out, because one thing we do know that Walker Kessler can do is protect the rim. He protects the rim at a high level. From his rookie year, we saw him be an elite level offensive rebounder. But we did not see that last year. We saw a lot of I don't know what happened with, Steve Kerr, and if that got in his head that he thought from there that he needed to be the stretch big, because that's kind of obvious that's what happened. It seems pretty clear that during the USA basketball last year with Steve Kerr that Walker Kessler didn't get on the floor. They're playing other players that could stretch the floor. And I think in his head, he's like, that's what I got to be. If I want to be an elite level player, I got to be a stretch big. He might not be that. He wasn't really hitting the threes that he did take last year. His free throws did improve, although tonight he missed 2 of them. But I don't know. I don't know what to think with Walker Kessler. I think he's a solid NBA big. I think that if there's a team out there that wants him, though, they can probably get him. I don't think the Jazz are thinking we've got to build around Walker Kessler. That is an essential part of our rebuild. Because guess what? The last 2 years when he was playing post-trade deadline, the Jazz wanted to lose games. He was playing and the Jazz were losing, And for how good he is as a rim-protecting center, I have my doubts, guys. I have my doubts. Because how can he be that elite of a rim protector and the Jazz are literally dead last in defense? Even Rudy Gobert, with some of the worst perimeter defense ever, still led the Jazz to a top 10 defense last season with the Jazz, right? It's not the same. I mean, that's the question I have. Was that rookie season from Walker Kessler, was that fool's gold, or was that legit? Will the real Walker Kessler please stand up? And please let us know who you are and what you're going to be. Because the thing that I agree with the Jazz on this is what I expected last year? It's the reason why I thought the Jazz would win more games than they did, is I thought Walker Kessler would take a next step as a defensive anchor, as an offensive rebounder. He has great hands. And it kind of went the other direction. It was pretty soft. There was very bad touch around the rim. The defense wasn't as good as you thought it should be. It was not great. It was really not great. So there's the thoughts on Kessler. We'll keep watching him, but I just wish we saw a little more dominance. And that's a tough ask going against Andre the Giant on the Memphis Grizzlies. That's a tough guard, and he had his moments. He had 4 blocks tonight, pretty nice. So what did he have? 3 blocks. That should be 4. I don't know if they counted. It doesn't matter. Sensabaugh had some moments. I tell you what, 3 for 7 from 3. Sensabaugh is a really interesting player, because I was watching him, and some people online tend to like to take shots at your guy right here. And lately, I'm just kind of, if you're going to come at me on the Twitter machine and you make me mad, I'm going to block you. I have just come to that point. I don't care. I'm 40 years old now. I got better things to do than be everyone's punching bag. So if you look at me sideways, I'm going to just block you at this point, because I don't care. I really don't. But anyways, I just tweeted out that I thought Bryce Sensabaugh looked comfortable out there. And by the way, the offensive numbers show it. Now, where he did not look comfortable, one, I kind of was hoping that Bryce Sensabaugh would come into the season being in a lot, just leaner. Because I think there's a player here in Sensabaugh that could be really nice offensively. But what I did not see is, what I want to see from Bryce Sensabaugh? Because we know he can shoot the ball. Look at this. For all the complaints people had, he shot 3 for 7 from 3, 42%. We know he can shoot the ball. He goes 5 for 12 from the field, I mean, I guess he was missing his 2s. 6 rebounds, 1 assist, but 7 turnovers. The 2 things that I want to see from him, and I think actually we've seen moments from him defensively that look pretty decent. But the way he's going to get better, you know what I want to see from Bryce Sensabaugh? I want to see definition in the arms. You know what I mean? I want to see muscles. I want to see fitness. You know what I mean? I want to see suicides on the court at practice. I want to see him faster than everyone on the court. I want to see him just in elite physical shape. I want that, I want that big moment where Bryce Sensabaugh walks in and he's like, yeah, I have lost 15 pounds. I am as cut and lean as could be, and I'm ready to dominate the game. Because I tell you what, if Bryce Sensabaugh comes into camp this year or next year in elite physical shape, there's a player there that could be pretty nice. Pretty nice. Because he's got the tool. Like, at worst, he's a great shooter. At worst. But the thing is there's two things he's got to work on. One is the body. That's number one. I want to see him just, come on, man. You're an NBA player. You're getting NBA money. First round NBA money, too. I know you were a later first round pick. You're still getting NBA money. Your job is to play basketball. Go out and get in shape, man. And that's one thing I want to give Keyonte George credit for. Did you see how lean he was? He got lean again. He is leaned out. If there's one thing that Keyonte George does, it is put all his effort into the offseason. He is lean. Holy smokes. He is ready to go. But Bryce doesn't look that much different to me. And I just think, man, can you go into the offseason, lose some weight, just get in just peak physical conditioning? And guess what's going to happen? You're going to be faster. You're going to be a better defender with that. Just leaner, quicker, and you're going to be less tired, The second thing he's got to improve is that handle. It's just not very good. The handle's not very good, and maybe he can't get there. Who knows? But he's got nice size. If he can improve that handle, then this goes up because I just think there's something there with Bryce Sensabaugh. But in all honesty, it's up to him. But 7 turnovers is a lot. It's a lot. And I don't know if you guys have ever, if you guys have ever covered a game where you are taking stats. You know what the hardest stat to count when you're watching and taking stats for a game? It's turnovers. It's freaking hard to count. So for them to count 7 turnovers is not great. That's a lot. It's a lot. That means the ball was taken from him, That handle has to get better. But the thing is, if he gets in better physical shape, if he improves his handle, there is a nice offensive player here. A nice one. Can do a lot of things. And we learned last year that he's got some nice passing ability, But man, these Grizzlies got after him and they took the ball. And things aren't going to get easier in the regular season, And I know Summer League is a lot of chaos and you got guys on teams just trying to make the roster, like Scottie Pippen Jr. or whatever. He's out there just killing himself to get steals. He's doing everything he can to make the roster. So he's giving 150%, But you want to see your guys overcome that. And I think we saw a little bit of these struggles. These numbers come from that. I mean, these guys are playing playoff basketball to make a team. They want to make a team. So you're going to see that. And so, you know what? This is a good sign, I guess, for him that, like, hey, Bryce, if you improve your handle, you can become something pretty good. Because this right here is awesome. 3 for 7 from 3. He's a solid offensive player, but he's got to get in better shape. And he's got to improve the handle, and the defense will improve with that better physical shape, and the efficiency and scoring will be much better. But yeah, you look at 7 turnovers, and that's probably leading to this -8. Pretty simple stuff. Some of it's not that complicated. Keyonte George. I love Keyonte George. Let's just get into it. Yes, the shooting was not great. He missed 9 in a row at the end of the game. It was very clear that the Memphis Grizzlies were saying, we want you to go full bore, full court press, 100 miles an hour, guard him as hard as you can, and make his life miserable. And you know what? What I love about Keyonte George, as the game went on, he just overcame it. He had that moment where he hit like 3 threes in a row. Fantastic to see. He did miss like those 9 shots at the end of the game. That might be a little bit of exhaustion. And so there's just a level of fitness that he has to get. But man, what makes me impressed by Keyonte George is there was like, in that post-game interview, we saw a little bit of maturity there that we didn't really see last year. A little bit of, I know I'm a guy in the NBA. What we just need to see from Keyonte is just some efficiency. And the way he can do that is just by the ball movement. I think he came into this game tonight when just was saying, I'm going to score the basketball. And he did just that. But he did it by going to the free throw line. We got to talk about that. But this will get better as Keyonte just moves the ball. And I think tonight we saw a lot of score first mentality, which is fine. We don't always know what the Jazz are telling these players to do. If the Jazz told Keyonte, we want you to go out there and score the ball, that might have been what they asked him to do. Now, if they're asking him to move the ball around, then that might be something else. We did get that interesting quote from Danny Ainge at the postgame presser that he doesn't really maybe think of Keyonte as a point guard. So maybe they told Key that you are a shooting guard tonight. We want you to score the ball. That might have been what they asked him to do. Now, if they want him to play point guard and move the ball around, well, then that means this has to get better. It does. But the way you can improve efficiency is by improved playmaking, So he only has the 3 assists tonight. They were nice assists, but he was taking shots, and the efficiency will get better as he just kind of makes better plays. Now, the thing is when the shot's not falling, it's hard to always make the right play, right? If you are trying to set yourself up to get the right shot and it's not falling, it's hard to get into a flow where you're like, okay, I can make this shot or I can pass the ball. Key's still finding his way, guys. We got to let these guys develop. We got to let Walker Kessler develop, although he's coming into year 3 now. This is a big year for Walker Kessler, but let them develop. They've still got to find their shots. What are your spots on the floor? All these guys that become the elite level scorers in the game, they have their shots and they have their spots. And what I mean by that is, this is my move. Like the move that Donovan Mitchell had with the Utah Jazz. He would take that high ball screen at the top of the three-point line, and he would go to that free throw line jumper. That was just like a go-to scoring move for him. Very similar to like the Chris Paul move where he goes right side and scores at that free throw line jumper. And Chris Paul made an entire career of having that shot and just knocking it down at an elite level. Keyonte George is still finding those shots. What we have from Key is just an absolute huge bag of tools. But those tools have to be refined a little bit. And sometimes you don't need certain tools, If you're hammering in the nail, you don't need a wrench, right? You just need that hammer, and you just got to learn how to get really good at hammering in that nail. If you're trying to screw some screws in, you just need that screwdriver, and you just got to learn to use it well. Some of the tools, maybe you just need to learn to let those go. What I think with Key is he has this just incredible bag of tools. He really is such a gifted offensive player with so many options. There is an absolute Swiss Army knife of ability there. He's just got to learn what are his most important tools and how does he use those more effectively when he's scoring the basketball. And then as you get more and more refined, then you start using more of those tools. Then you start adding more and more to your game. When he starts adding those consistent scoring tools, then the playmaking, I think, and maybe I'm wrong, that will get better as well. When Key knows like, hey, this shot, I know it's there. I'm going to go get to that shot, and if that shot's not there, if they defend it, if a secondary defender comes to stop me because they know I'm going to score doing this specific move, that's when I find the open man and they score. There's also the element of a point guard being just that table setter for everyone else, and I think Isaiah Collier is a little more naturally that type of player, but I think he has those passing tools as well. I think for him, it's a score first mentality where I think Isaiah Collier has a little bit more of that table setting ability. We'll see. And honestly, at some point this season, we might just see, Keyonte George and Isaiah Collier together, and that will be really fun. Now, whether that translates to winning basketball this year, I don't think that'll happen. They're very young. The defense for the Jazz is going to struggle this year. There's going to be turnovers. It's going to be tough, but it will be fun. Anyways, what I think with Keyonte, we've just got to let him develop. Now, one thing we saw tonight, and this is definitely a tool he knows how to use, and if he's allowed to use it, he becomes extremely efficient, but 17 free throws is fantastic. Fantastic. You can't just go and get 17 free throws. It's just hard to do. And for him to go out there and manufacture points like that is great. You know, in the end, yes, it was 5 for 17 from the field, although it was an efficient 3-4-8 from 3, which is great. But he scores 28 points on 17 shots. That's fantastic efficiency. It is. When he starts figuring this out and getting this a little bit better, man, you're talking a really, really nice offensive player. We already know he can do it. It's just a refinement process. Let's let Keyonte George just go out there and continue to develop. And that's part of the reason this season that you've got to let these guys play. It is so hard to have two timelines. I know there's people out there that say timelines don't matter. Timelines matter. They really do. You can't develop these young guys and be going to win games, you know, playing guys like Jordan Clarkson and Colin Sexton, and Lauri Markkanen, and John Collins. It's really hard to develop these young guys and play those guys. And the Jazz are not a winning basketball team right now. So the Jazz just have to make some decisions with what they're going to do. But one of the best things they can do, at least with these young players and all these draft picks that they're bringing in, give them time. Let them learn. Let them go through their lumps. Let them improve. And then watch them improve as the season goes. You know, that's what the season has to be about. It really is. It is about developing youth and then improving that record or making that record bad so that you can get Cooper Flagg. And then when these guys have developed and you bring in Cooper Flagg, then you have guys that have developed so that they're ready to go when you bring in that superstar talent like Cooper Flagg. He's freaking awesome. Unbelievable. All right, we got to talk about it, but probably the star of the night is Isaiah Collier. He was awesome. He was awesome, and it sounds like tomorrow he is going to get some big-time minutes because I think the Jazz mentioned that they're going to rest their big-minute guys, so I think we're going to see Keyonte George and Walker Kessler rest, and he's so fun to watch. I mean, he already is fun. I mean, let me know in the comments what you think, but Collier is looking like an absolute steal. There was at one point in the draft, before the draft really, before the college season really got underway and USC had that bad season, but at one point, Isaiah Collier was considered the number one pick. And on many mocks, he was looking like the number one. And then he had a rough season. Although I don't know if he has a rough season as people say. I think it wasn't too bad. But USC just had a tough season. And then they had the Bronny James thing going on. Bronny James obviously has his heart condition, which was terrible. And thank goodness he survives and all that. But you have all these things going on. And it just leads to this tough season for USC. They don't win a lot of games. I don't know how well coached they are. I don't know a lot about that team at all. And honestly, I'm not quite sure why Collier dropped as much as he did. I think a lot of people had him just mid-lottery. He falls to the Jazz at 29. So at one point, he's considered the number one pick. The Jazz end up getting him at 29. And tonight, he looked like a high-level lottery prospect. He goes 4 for 9 from the field. He shoots 40% from three. He had 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals. He did all the things that help you win basketball games. He was great. 12 points as well. He is so much fun, and I think at some point during the season, we're going to just see him as the point guard. He might be the best pure point guard for Utah, and that might be really I mean, honestly, how many of you would be opposed to seeing a starting lineup of Collier, Keyonte George, Cody Williams, Taylor Hendricks, and Kyle Filipowski? I don't know if that wins a lot of games, but man, that would be a lot of fun to watch. And then off the bench, you got Bryce Sensabaugh and, whoever else. I guess Kenny Lofton Jr. But that's a fun team to watch, and I want to see that. And I'd love to just let that team develop. Let them cook, as the kids say these days. The Jazz, but anyways, I can't tell you how impressed I was with Collier. He looks under control. He looks so strong. He's got that physical, he's got that bulldog mentality. It's a little, this is a little hyperbole. I don't want to, all of you out there can say what you want and tweet out and try to take shots at the Hoops Nerd if you want. I'll block you. If you hurt my feelings, I'll block you, okay? A little Baron Davis-y. A little Baron Davis. Any of you out there familiar with Baron Davis, who was just physical, strong point guard that was just a bruiser, felt like a big-time NFL running back when he drives to the basket and just punishes guys? Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. I'm excited to watch him develop, because if he can hit 40%, I don't know. I mean, if he's shooting 40% from three, he's pretty impressive. In fact, I just want to go. We're going to bring this up. I'm going to do combine measurements for Isaiah Collier. Let's see. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I always get afraid with Twitter because, all right, let's bring this up because who knows what people say and share on here. But anyways, Isaiah Collier measurements at the NBA draft combine. And this might have been why he dropped a little bit, but this is without shoes. So 6'2.5". So he's 6'4"-ish with shoes, right? Wingspan 6'4.75". So it's not this huge wingspan. And this is probably why he dropped. 8.1. So the size is not that great. At point guard, this is probably just big enough, just big enough that you probably are fine with it. But 8 foot 1.5 standing reach, that's fine. Hand width 9, height without shoes. So that's probably why he drops. And there's probably a lot of teams out there that are like, you know what, we want to get length and athleticism and all these things. And I'm one of those guys that wants those things. But sometimes I think we overthink it a little bit. I think we overthink it. By the way, Robert Lambert, welcome back, baby. Welcome to Rookie. Capture the flag time. Get Keyonte some help. I agree. It might be Collier. And we're running into this thing, and right now the Jazz are just collecting prospects and assets. That's what the Jazz should be doing. It's what they are doing. I mean, honestly, what the Jazz are doing right now is, I think we're going to see some trades here at some point. They have not done a lot. They have all this cap space. They are going to, the big signing so far is Drew Eubanks. I don't know. But lost my train of thought there. But Isaiah Collier might be a steal, guys. He might be a legit guy. And at point guard, if he's doing some incredible things, man, sometimes you get that guy that just forces his way. Oh, what I was going to say, now size-wise, same thing with Keyonte George. Keyonte George and Collier, you can tell they're about the same size. They're both about 6'4". When they dapped each other up at the end of the game, they look like they're the same height. So that's not the biggest backcourt, but if both of them develop, maybe that's what it ends up becoming. And then you've got some really interesting things. Now, you got to think defensively. Can they be that defensive? Can you be good enough defensively with that as your backcourt? Maybe Collier and George can just kind of develop as defensive players. George was pretty solid tonight when I watched him defensively. Like, yeah, he wasn't perfect, but he has moments where you're like, that's pretty good. I don't know. We'll see. I think at this point, though, what you want to do is collect as many players, as many assets, let them develop, let them grow, see what they become. Keyonte George, can he continue to improve his efficiency? Can he continue to improve in those ways? If this is a baseline for Collier, that's pretty great. And I don't know how old he's not old. How old is Isaiah Collier? Oh, no, it's not. Come on. He's 19, and this is a baseline. 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 12 points. Is he going to be a triple-double guy? I don't know. But he's certainly got a bulldog mentality. He's certainly a great passer with great vision. And you know what? If he can shoot the three, look out. Now, it is Summer League, and it's one game of Summer League, so let's just see what happens. We don't want to crown him the leader of the team just yet, but man, that's some impressive stuff for just a debut to be that efficient and that solid and look that comfortable. pretty great. And that was with guys like Scottie Pippen and all these guys just coming at you 100 miles an hour. So great stuff. Filipowski, they played him at the power forward, and I actually personally I think needs to be a center. Like there's a little bit the best plays tonight for Filipowski, and for whatever reason the 3-point shot didn't fall, but it looked pretty good to me. He took those, they just didn't fall, but the shot looks good to me. Let's see, Filipowski, 0 for 4. He did have 4 rebounds. That one assist was really nice, where he drove and then dished it off to Kessler. He had a couple passes there that were pretty good. Like my comp for him, I know a lot of people want to say Kelly Olynyk, and maybe he is. Like maybe he's Kelly Olynyk. Kelly Olynyk's pretty good comp. I actually think Vucevic on the Bulls is kind of what he reminds me of a little bit, where he can drive a little bit. There's a nice more at the center position, because I think as a power forward, I think you're I don't know, I could be wrong, but I think that he might really shine as a 5. It allows the Jazz to just go 5 out with someone like him, and I think that's interesting. So I think he's kind of a 4-5 combo. I like him more as a center. The problem is, can he defend and can he protect the rim? Probably not. His biggest skill set is defending the rim. Much like Vucevic, not the greatest defender, but can he rebound? He had 4 rebounds tonight in 16 minutes. So, if you stretch that out to 32, that's 8 rebounds. Can he be a 10 rebound a game guy? Maybe. Sorry, guys. I got to keep fresh here. We also got to see Darius Bazley and Kenneth Lofton play. Bazley is just a nice all-around athlete. I don't know if he impacts the games much more. He missed 2 big-time free throws. Those were brutal. brutal, because it would put it game. There were multiple times the Jazz could have just put this game away, but they kept missing free throws. But yeah, 2 missed by Collier that were, they needed them. 2 by Bazley. I'm going to give Kia a break because he was 15 for 17, but man, Kessler, come on, my guy. He missed 4 free throws tonight. I thought we got better at that. Kenneth Lofton Jr. is just a lot of fun. Sometimes I watch him and I always wonder, like, why isn't he getting more minutes? I know, I thought he looked a little leaner in some of those Jazz summer camp videos, and I don't know if he just went to, I don't know if he went to Chuckarama right before Summer League and just, overdid it on the scones and honey butter. Because we all do. Who among us has not taken at least 8 scones and covered it in the honey butter? By the way, maybe the most underrated food out there is the scone and honey butter at Chuckarama. It is top tier. If you are ever coming to Utah and you want a buffet, I'm sorry, Chuckarama beats Golden Corral 99 times out of 100. Why? Because the scone honey butter combo, my mouth is watering as we speak, is just elite. It is top tier. I'm sorry, Nathan, you're going to miss out on scones and honey butter for 2 years, my man. My guy. We'll have to mail you some scones and honey butter, but the honey butter might go bad. Anyways, Kenny ate too many scones and honey butter. But he's a nice player. I think as what I see him as a 6th man. I honestly think, and this is also hyperbole, but I think he could be a 6th man of the year at some point. It's just like Sensabaugh. Can you just, lay off the scones a little bit? Just a little. Some of that size does help him, though, because he's such a bruiser and he uses it so well and he's so skilled. But there are some times when I'm watching him that he does miss, like he misses the moment. He doesn't quite make the right play. Like when he catches the 3 around the perimeter, and instead of just taking the 3, he'll like pump fake and drive and then pass it out. And you've kind of ruined the flow of the offense a tiny bit when you do that. If he's going to pump fake and drive, you got to go score, right? But if you pump fake and drive, that's solid basketball. There's nothing wrong with that. There's just times where it feels like it's not the right time. Like if you're open for 3, take the 3. What is Kenny Lofton's 3-point percentage? Let me just look for curious. The stats here. Let's go to Basketball Reference. Let's bring this up. I just want to see. So career 31% three-point shooter. So that's probably why. If Kenny Lofton Jr. can shoot 36 to 40% from three, it just turns him into an elite player. It really does. He could be so elite. Now, he's got that mid-range game. He's kind of your grandpa's favorite style of basketball because he's got that mid-range game. He's a bully. He bulldozes inside. He's got great touch around the rim. He goes 3 for 4 from the field tonight. Obviously misses that 1 3, and he knocks down his 2 free throws. 8 points. There's just a lot to like. It's just there's those few things like a little bit of decision making, a little bit of quickness, and then just the 3-point shot. If he knocks down that 3 at an elite level, you've got yourself honestly a star. But man, 31% from 3 is tough because then they don't have to guard you. If you are pump fake and driving and trying to put the ball between your legs and just go get that bucket in mid-range, it can work, but then it just becomes ISO ball. And sometimes that's good and sometimes it's not. And, when it works, it's great, but you're trying to find the flow of the offense and then get those balls to those shooters in the right time. It's just tough. And so there's times where I just wonder, why isn't Kenny Lofton getting more minutes? Why is he off the bench? What's the thing? It would be interesting to really talk to someone and say, why is that? And I think it's just it's not that complicated. I think sometimes the decision making's not good enough. I think the shooting's just not good enough. If you're shooting 30% from 3, it's really hard. And unless you're doing things at just an incredible elite level, it's tough. But he's so skilled that he's going to be on the roster, and he's a really fun player to watch. I really enjoy him. There's just a few things he's just got to refine. So, no one else. We didn't get to see Jason Preston this game. He's one of those guys that I want to watch. He was such a triple-double monster in the Summer League. We didn't get to see him. All right, guys, I think that's everything. If you're a Jazz fan and you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? By the way, we have members on this channel, and we got to give a shout out to the All-Stars. Oh my gosh, I forgot, guys. I forgot. We haven't done this for a while, but it's time. You know what? We're just going to go right into it because guess what? We're on Cooper Flagg Watch. Capture the flag time. It's our first. Oh, mama, look at that. They got Jazz as the 4 seed. Pretty excited.